and what a struggle, my God. And I was 23 years then, so like we've known what other players have been doing even internationally. We've never actually tracked or bothered much or cared about competition. Right? We were not spared. We had zero business for 2 months.
When you guys started, what was the initial thesis? Because I think at that time there was a lot of players doing different things, somewhat unorganized segment, right? Everybody wanted to say, okay, I can get you a plumber at home, I can get you an electrician at home. Everybody felt that they'd have a better solution than what's out there. And then, of course, apps were the thing to basically make everything, kind of blow up. What was the initial thesis for you?
When we entered, this was back in 2014, and I remember we all three of us had our own different startups before we got together.
Right. Yours was buggy, right?
Yes. So I was trying to solve the ride-sharing transportation sector, and what a struggle, my God! And I was 23 years then, so quite a daunting task then, and I was doing it alone. And I think Varun and Abhiraj had so I'd moved back to India in 2013. And amongst the bunch of experiences I went through, one of them was building my first startup. Abhiraj, Varun had just quit BCG, and they were trying to have a go at their first startup. And when we got started, we then started talking about what could we do together, because three of us kind of almost failing at the first try. That's when we realized we had a very close affinity to solving very, very large spaces, right? And something which touches upon mass market, and hence it's almost like a daily life problem. And we were very clear, we want to do something, we want to ultimately build a large company, so that it shouldn't happen that after 20, 30 years, or after 10 years, we lose the steam. So it's something large enough which keeps us occupied for the rest of our working life. But more importantly, something which is built upon the leverage of technology and is able to create a massive difference. Because otherwise we would lose that passion. Right? We were fueled by disrupting very, very large spaces. And therein we found that one of the most archaic spaces, and we didn't have to be honest, think a lot, was being new to a city. I was new to Delhi. Actually, all three of us were new to Delhi. Somehow we were just ended up being in Delhi together. Basic things like getting a plumbing fixed, and how reliant you are on your security guard for pretty much everything in the house, kind of sparked that interest that, hey, like this human to human transaction which happens, which we call services now, is extremely broken. And we looked at the whole spectrum right up till Abhiraj had just gotten married when we started off, and like finding a photographer, for example, where the hell you go? You'd ask your chacha for his daughter's wedding and get that reference. I think that's what made us really go deep into exploring services. And I think after that, it was a very structured waterfall of it's extremely, extremely unorganized. You have 25 million professionals, either freelancing through or under some contractor, but all in all, very, very fragmented and almost like hardly getting the ends to meet. And that's when you just took the plunge.
Did you go through a process of validation, or you're like, you know what, this is a problem that we faced, there are so many others who have the same challenge, and then since we went through this process, we also feel like we know the challenges and which have to be fixed and how to fix it, and we're all smart guys, we're consultants, and I've seen it, how the West handles it, and hence I will do this better. Was that the way you guys approached it? What is the thought there?
Yeah, I think there are two very important things. I think once bitten, twice shy. All of us, with our first experience, knew exactly what not to do, and where the big struggle points would be. And the second is it always helps to have consultants in your team, right? So with the other two co-founders being very heavy on consulting experience, I think we were very structured this time. And I remember we used to do surveys with our friends with 700 people personally paying to fill out survey forms. And interestingly, there's only one question we realized is relevant whenever we were doing these surveys, which is, are you going to pay money for something, right? Not asking, what do you want? Because everyone will say, I want A, B, C, D, but are you going to pay money? And I think that got us to a gist of it is a true problem very, very quickly. So it was very structured. It took us about 2 months to structure the problem statement and just a month to launch the first product.